Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 133. The weather is wonderful.
It is.
Back in the church room bar. We have our missing member today.
Yeah. I screwed up. I thought he was going to be here, and we'll get to that more probably in the plant because I was trying to plan out beer. Because all of us, with springtime and the weather, everyone's schedule is getting really busy. Apologize ahead of time if you hear the construction again ongoing in the background. Seasons of change, winds of change.
It's true. It's all true. I was surprised when you sent that email because you don't typically forget those types of details.
In my defense, I think during pre-production, he barely mentioned it because I understand that last Friday was his last day.
Yeah.
But and then he did say, "I'll be."
That's
on
probably
vacation.
why I remembered because it was his last day at work. But he's still part of the podcast. He didn't quit.
He didn't quit.
Last Friday wasn't his last day on the podcast. So the weather's getting nice. Baseball's about to start. We usually have one episode before the baseball season where Chris isn't here and we talk about baseball.
Right.
But I'm not sure if we want to do that because a lot of people don't seem to like that.
Our sports segments aren't rated highly. I think we do a hell of a job.
I think we do a great job.
And we toot our own horn a lot. You know, we say a lot of things tongue-in-cheek. I think we do a good job of giving you like 80% of the accurate when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, I think we're about 80% accurate.
So,
there's a little homerism in there, but that's okay.
I'm not going to lie, you know, I'm not going to name names, but if your name rhymes with like Chugalo Pikey, I understand you don't like the sports segments.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah, we'll back off a little bit.
We did just have our fantasy draft.
Yeah.
Sunday. One person's draft went really well. One person's draft is injured, for lack of a better term. And, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall the teams are pretty good. I looked at all the teams, and they look even.
I disagree.
Where does it lean?
I definitely think there are the haves and the have-nots, and I think there are definitely two have-nots. One being Mickey Mouse. He's only got 7 pitchers.
I don't know if I looked at his team.
Only got 7 pitchers. Yeah. That's just a lot of bad utilization of resources.
Sure.
And then the other one is Juggalo Joey, just because he will always have a bad team. He could win the championship, and it's just going to be a fluke. It's just because
his team is bad.
So that's just
Winning
a shot over the bow.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of parity, and there's a lot of youth in baseball. I know we're not going to talk sports, but I noticed that in going through all my spreadsheets. Well, not just youth in age, but like youth in years of experience.
Yeah,
I feel like it's definitely skewing towards the lesser amount of years.
That's something I always do, like when I go to the ballpark, and this year will be the return of the ballpark since none of us could go to the ballpark last year.
Yeah.
I always look at the date of birth on the players. Now it's going to be harder and harder to find a player that's older than me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. I mean, you got maybe Luke Voigt's replacement, Jay Bruce. He's a little older. He's younger than us. He's younger than both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up today. Because I was like, this got to be a different Jay Bruce. Like, it's got to be like just some other guy named the same. Nope, same guy. 1987 was his birth, so he's younger than both of us. But yeah, in most sports, in almost all sports except quarterbacks in the NFL and most hockey players, we are older than all of them. Hockey players play for like 1,000,000 years. You know, Jaromir Jagr, whatever. He just retired.
Well, Gordie Howe
just retired too, like 6 days ago.
And then the other one that I always used to like, Ryan Braun.
Yeah, Ryan Braun's been around.
But I'm older than him by 8 months.
What was his rookie season? 08?
No, gosh, no.
Before that?
Oh yeah, way before.
Man, I don't remember.
Because he was born in 83,
he's been around for a while. Wow, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I guess it would have been like 2004 or 5, maybe.
I think the last Brewer that was older it was the catcher, the tall guy that was 2 years ago. He was a one and done. He's been around. Then he went to the Giants. I really liked him too, obviously, because I can't remember his name. But anyways. Yeah,
enough of that.
So, beer news. I don't have a lot. We have a little bit for segment 3. That's the sheets. Is Kentucky Kentucky? So you think of bourbon, you think of booze, you never think of beer. And there's definitely a reason for that because they don't produce a lot of it. But they just established a law where they can now self-distribute, so you don't have to sell it to a store that sells it for you.
That's very good.
Up to 2,500 barrels of beer. So that's at least 4, 5, 6 packs. I'm not very good with math, or as loyal Chuggalo listeners will know. But so that's good that they can do point of sale sales.
Yeah, that's good. Do they do that in Ohio? Because there are local
breweries.
Do the breweries self-distribute? Or do they have to go through a distributor?
No, so you can go to Warped Wing or Branch and Bone and buy stuff right from them.
Oh, you mean that too?
Yeah.
I meant Branch and Bone has started showing up at the gas station and the
crispy
liquor
crunchy
store.
Chicken,
crispy crunchy shell.
Yeah,
and they're at Arrow, and same thing with Nowhere in Particular. They're at Arrow now.
Interesting.
But I wasn't sure if they're just dropping beer off or if it has to go through a distributor.
Yeah, no. So a lot of those places in Ohio still self-distribute. So
good.
they've got the little vans, like the little Sprinter vans, and they just load it up. The problem, and I think we covered this one time, they still have to go check in somewhere. They can't just leave the point. They have to go to one of 4 locations in the state, show what they have, and then they can. But they're still the beer merchandisers or whatever.
Yeah.
Very crucial because they're out there. They're the ones shilling their wares. To Pat at Hall's Corner Store or whatever. So they're still the small guys doing that. It's not always the big beer trucks.
That's good. Because I know a lot of them have to be distributed.
Like Wendell, the Miller High Life guy. Remember Wendell?
No.
The bald black guy that was all right, big guy. Oh, Wendell.
No,
I think his name was Wendell.
High Life?
Yeah, the High Life man. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Do you have any beer news?
Not particularly. I did see, not to bring sports back up, but a gentleman, I believe it was, I don't know, the Angels game maybe. I can't remember which team it was. Saved the person behind him.
Wendell.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah. So that's who I had pictured in my head. I didn't know that was High Life.
Yeah,
Oh.
Wendell has left us, but yeah.
Oh, he did? Oh,
he started at the High Life, man.
He's a funny guy. There was a guy at a game who stuck his can up.
Yeah.
Blocked a foul ball. Can exploded. They did praise him as a hero, where I kind of saw more of like a reactionary fear kind of thing going on. But regardless, he still saved her, the girl behind him.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm scared that a rocket foul ball is gonna hit me or my kids.
Oh,
at a game
I've been at a game where somebody passed away. They
No
took
way.
a minor. Yeah.
Holy moly.
So it was
That'd be
it was a Texas, not a minor league game, but a collegiate game.
Yeah.
Just.
That's crazy. Yeah, you gotta be paying attention. Don't go to these games if you're not gonna pay attention.
That's why
or sit somewhere else.
I'm for expanding the mesh all the way down.
I'm for expanding it across, but not. I don't want to go higher. I think that you should still allow the pop fly foul balls to come through.
Yeah,
if you
so
get
I'm with
bumped
you.
in the
Yeah,
head, and maybe if you're elderly, it might it could kill you. But
there's a science. If you get a pop ball,
if there's a pop up coming, you have so much time.
Yeah.
For everyone to be like, hey, there's a pop up coming. But if it's like a line drive to your face, there's very little reaction.
Or a bat to the face.
Oh, a bat, yeah, that'd be rough.
Especially with how they build the bats.
And it stabs you, that'd be awful.
Yeah, right to the jugular. God,
that'd be terrible. But yeah, so use your cans to block balls.
Yes.
That's the message here.
Block your balls.
Block your balls with cans.
Can balls.
Can balls.
Gotta write that one down.
Write that down.
Block can balls. Okay. All right, on to the beer segment. So we have a decision to make.
We do.
So, we're getting into the springtime, and I sent an email, and this is part of why I forgot, and I need a little bit of crow with Cobra not being here today, because I know he's got to rush out of here, straight from the church room bar. So, both beers that I picked and I started chilling on Sunday are higher grab DIPAs. Mm-hmm. So, one is from Surly, which... oddly enough, we've talked about a lot on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We've never once had.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like we said this already.
Befuddled.
Okay.
It's a lot of beers we've had on the podcast.
Yeah.
And the second one is 18th Street Brewing. Do you know where
Okay.
18th Street Brewing is?
No. 18th Street?
Yeah. So it's
on 18th Street.
It's in the same city partner city as one of my favorite breweries. It's in Hammond, Indiana.
Yeah, okay.
So we have 18th Street Brewing and Surly. What would you like? Would you like to split both? Would you like to have one of the because they're both also they come in 16-ounce cans.
Yeah, typically I don't do this. I'll drink my own, but let's split one.
Yep.
And drink one whole one.
So you pick one.
Let's split the Surly.
Okay, we're gonna split the Surly, which is funny that you say that, and so I'm gonna go grab it right now.
All right.
Because I have Surly as the lead off. So
well, good.
Do we want to do the full beer first?
Whatever. No, you do it in the order you want to.
Okay, excellent. So this beer actually, this is great audio because I'm walking around. This beer actually came, and we advertised it on the podcast last week. This beer came from Chuggalo Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Who is in Arizona taking in some spring training games. And this is called Dumpster Fire 2020.
Very good. Yeah, Dumpster Fire.
Which is hilarious. And I'm going to get into a little bit of story of that. But I want to crack it so we have...
All right. It's cracked.
So this is, again, the first time we've had Surly on the pod.
I can't believe that. I feel like...
We've talked about him all the time with all the unionization.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've talked about him a ton. It has an interesting smell.
So, and it's a double dry hopped hazy double IPA. So, double dry hop DIPA.
Double dry hop DIPA. Hazy.
So, it comes in at 9.3. Surly's out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can find out more from them on just Google Surly, which is fantastic. Can you guess why it's named Dumpster Fire 2020?
It's an annual release.
Do you know why it's an annual release?
I do, but it's cheating because I already read it.
Yeah. So the history of this is when Surly opened up, they actually had a literal dumpster fire in their parking lot. And the funny thing about it is they threw 2020 on it because I think we can all agree that last year was a very forgettable year as far as, activities, things you could do, etc. for 9 months out of the year. So again, this is a hazy DIPA. We've already talked about Surly. I forget the episodes. I didn't write them down because we didn't do any. But we went into all their unionization efforts. We've went into my drama of me trying to get into Surly multiple different times and failing each different time for multiple different reasons. But it's a very popular, I would say, and I'm going to get a lot of crap next time I go to Minnesota, I would say by volume, it's the most popular craft brewer in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So whether that's, right, wrong, indifferent, or whatever, their volume and how much product they move dwarfs anyone that's in a 40 to 50 mile radius. Easy. I can confidently say that that's the case.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I've never been there.
So there's an ongoing joke. So it's funny that my two best friends, Chuggalo Mikey and Chuggalo Ryan, send me Surly all the time because both of them are better fans of it. I agree that, and I think that this was a strategic pick by Ryan because I agree that most of Surly stuff is a dumpster fire. I'm just not a fan of it. They've been doing a lot better getting like the sours, more the avant-garde, started, getting away from the swill or whatever, expanding their portfolio, and they've done a good job of that. And it's one of those things, and to bring Cobra into the injection, the most things that I hear about Surly is, the beer's all right, but the food is great. Do you want to be dwarfed?
Right. You don't want that.
And now that they're getting away from the front of the house and offering food and focusing on the beer and being a production brewery, which we've talked about on this, are you a production brewery? Are you a brew pub or whatever? They're going much more to the production side of the house. Was that, now they won't have the food to bring people in.
Yeah, you don't want to be the food's great brewery. That is for sure. I mean, there's a lot of good food at breweries. To be honest, there's some breweries that do serve really good, really unique food, but you don't want to be a brewery.
That's a very succinct. You don't want to be the food's great brewery. Very succinct. Like, amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever been, compartmented or wrapped in that, but you don't want to be the food's great brewery.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Dot.
Yeah. It just kind of accidentally float off the tongue, but it does sound good. And you don't want to be that. There, like I said though, there is good food. So no offense. It's not that you shouldn't have good food. It's that it shouldn't be what people mention. about your brewery. They should talk about the beer. Oh, I went there and had this one beer. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, or I can actually park in your parking lot and get into the brewery.
Exactly. All shit
like
that
it needs to start there for sure, or have public transportation nearby. Okay, I'll get into this beer. I have a dumpster fire story, but it's not really a story as much as it's just a remark.
Okay.
But
I like it. I'm looking forward. I hope it's a story.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's a story too, but I don't know that it is.
Well, we'll be the judge.
I'll think about it over the course of the next minute or two.
All right.
This is the Can Art Boner segment. So this is Mikey.
Chuggle Ryan.
Here we go. I'm going to do my usual Vanna White spin.
Who again has gotten...
man, look at that speed.
Who's gotten very lucky because he mails these in flat rate postage boxes. So I don't know what he tells them when he goes to hand these in, like what's in there. So
you don't tell them anything.
But if they ask what's in there, like, do you want to...
don't
you have to tell them?
Katie's shipped many boxes, and I can't remember what she said her plan B is.
Yeah.
Like if they ask. I don't believe she's been asked.
Can you say none of your business?
I don't think so.
Did you always want to be a mail clerk when you grew up? Like, was that your plan?
No, I knew the dads are always the baseball coaches.
Yeah.
One of my teammates, his name was Eric. His dad was a mailman.
Yeah.
I can't remember his first name, but I remember his last name. But just
Steve.
I don't want to say it. But I believe he's passed away since then. But he was a large man. I don't know if he was like a walking mailman or what, but he definitely wasn't getting, the exercise that like my mailman, for example, gets. My mail woman gets. Yeah, he was a big guy, but he was one of the baseball coaches.
One of my exes, her dad was a rural mail carrier.
Rural.
So you know what the best part? They have to drive with their left because they sit in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
So because rural mail carriers, everything's delivered on the right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's true here too.
So you have to, but they have right driving cars.
Oh, they have right seats.
Yeah. It's hard to get that just in
Okay.
Because you don't see in rural communities, you don't see mail trucks. You just see random cars that have a U.S. mail sign on them.
Oh.
So you have to have like a front seat that is like a bench.
Like a bench seat, yeah.
And they will drive completely illegal because they can't lean over.
I didn't know that.
So they drive with their left hand and their left foot while sitting. So they straddle like the transmission, hump
I didn't
or whatever.
Know that.
Yeah.
They need to fix that.
And they'll just go through beater cars.
Yeah.
Just whatever gets them
I
going.
thought they had mail trucks out there.
But yeah, so, he would always say in the winter it gets hairy because, you have to stretch to get that brake then.
Yeah.
So when you're going between multiple...
Yeah, you get those icy rotors.
So you'll see that in a lot of rural communities where they stack their postage boxes because then it's only easier to make her for the rural carrier.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so I didn't want to be a mail carrier. Just based on that alone, I think. But also, I don't know. I heard that you have to take a test.
You do, and they only offer
What's the test about?
It's a public servants test, and they only offer it depending on your district. They only offer it maybe once or twice a year.
Okay.
So the eligibility or the standard to get in is sometimes difficult because they're not always hiring. But once you're in, it's a mafia.
Yeah, then you're in.
I work with a lot of male personnel in my enlisted gig, and they love the job.
Really?
Whether they were maintenance, fixing the mail sorting machines or mail carriers or whatever, just really solid, salt of the earth type people.
I'd do like a mail room thing, like an elf.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be a
You'd
mail
be the
carrier.
drunk guy.
I don't want to carry mail.
I really like you, buddy.
Especially these days. I feel like in the 90s you could carry a couple bills, some spam when it used to be physical, and you move on with your life. But now it's like everything's a package.
Yeah.
Like at minimum, everything's a package. I don't want to do that. And the last thing about mail, rural mail, that was Tom Hanks was delivering mail to the rural area when his plane went down in Castaway.
Interesting. Wilson.
Remember that?
I don't remember that. I remember his sweater and then
he then delivered it at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
it was like it was one of those like old dusty roads, WrestleMania's coming up too. But.
Yeah.
All right. So the can art boner segment, dumpster fire. This has your typical, and I say typical, but not for cans. Cans don't typically have this, but this is your typical comic book picture. It's like pointillism, but not really. They like put points within the color, whereas pointillism's more the points are the color.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some art.
I've never
history
even
for you guys.
I even took an art history class. I don't recall pointillism. Yeah, I had to for my major.
I could never do that.
It sucked. It was the worst history class I got grade wise.
It sounds terrible. I don't want to do that. So there's a dumpster with fire coming out of it, and it's there's some probably cardboard boxes flattened that say double dry hopped hazy double IPA. That's about it. There's not a lot to it, but what I did catch and like about this can was that it says good fucking riddance on the side. That's clever right there. Good riddance to 2020. However, a lot of 2020 did carry over into 2021. But I like where their head's at. Brewed and canned by Surly, Brooklyn Center, and Minneapolis.
Yep. So one of their canning facilities is in a suburb. It's in Brooklyn Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's basically it. It's like a comic book illustration of a dumpster fire. I'm trying to pinpoint what's in this beer. Honestly, I think it's hops, and that's the flavor they were going for. I don't think they were trying to get you to say there's grapefruit or anything in this, or it has sweet or this. It's slightly different than everything else. Right. And I think that's what you should do if you're making a hazy IPA, because there's so many of them. There's like gajillions of hazy IPAs now. And it's hard to set yourself apart. It was just like when we first started doing this podcast, we were like, every brewery's first beer is an IPA. And none of us could tell the difference between these IPAs. They're all just basic IPAs. There's a lot of hazy IPAs out there. This one does have a different taste to it. I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I honestly can't figure it out. It's got to be just a unique hop.
Sadness and disappointment.
Type. I think that I never closed out the can art boner segment. That was the can art boner segment. It's been over for a while, but I've moved on to the beer flavor. Now the dumpster fire,
I can't wait for that story.
I'll save it a little actually. Wait for an opening later. I feel like some beers activate like a gland in your taste buds that usually is set by a specific thing, but in this case, it's not. I feel like when I finish drinking this beer, like I just ate a salty food, but it doesn't taste salty. But my mouth feels like I ate something salty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, the beer is salty. I have no idea how to define it. Other than that, it's just an IPA. I mean, I can't differentiate this from another thing. It does make my mouth water like I'm eating French fries, which I love. Man, I mean, this is your basic bitch, you know? At least that's my opinion. I don't think there's anything to hate. I don't think there's anything to love. I think that if you want to drink a hazy IPA and you reach for this one, you'll be satiated. 3.25. Just because I don't like that salty aftertaste.
Wow, excellent. So I agree with, this is a ho-hum IPA. I disagree with JT on one point. I get a fruity aspect to it.
I don't get that.
I get like the syrupy part of like a fruit cup. Not of the ones that are just in water.
Interesting.
So it's not like a fruit that it's like a chemical fruit or whatever.
Like the pears in syrup. Peaches. Yeah. Mostly peaches are in syrup.
Or like fruit cocktail. It's more of a tropical because it's a hazier IPA. So like a pineapple or something like muted citrus that has a little bit of a water to it. So that's the only thing that I get there. Off the top rope, I'm actually a little bit higher than JT.
Wow.
I'm at a 3.5, but again, Surly's a dumpster fire to me. I'm never going to be let in. I think it's just karma. Anytime that I go to Minneapolis, it's not high on my list of places to go, and now that they don't have food. I do like what they do for the community, though. They do a lot. They put Minneapolis beer as far as a national standard on the map. But there are a ton more places I would rather go than this place. We could say and we could argue about places like that in Dayton proper, but we're not going to get into that. But we all know what we mean.
We definitely could. But community outreach is an important aspect of being a local business,
Right.
especially if you've got if you've raised your status as high as Surly, and some people or some people choose their where they go based on this community outreach. I don't think I'm informed enough to always know who's got the community outreach, but hey, if they're doing good things for Minneapolis, great.
And they're union busters, so maybe that's a plus or minus for you.
Yeah, wherever you stand on that. That was what you reminded me of with the Postal Service test. The electricians union requires you to take a test just to get in.
The IBEW?
Now that doesn't include you. Yeah, that doesn't include you getting a job, just to get in. And so, if you're smart enough, you can take the test and get waived through some of the prerequisites.
Yep.
Yeah, I took that test. I don't know what ever happened to that. I didn't study. I never got my results back. But my grandpa got me a spot, in the test.
In the apprenticeship?
He's like, because he knew some people. And he's like, go take this test. I was like, all right. But I didn't really want to be an electrician.
Good money electrician.
Yeah, I should have been one, because it's a really good job.
I love my electrician. I know Rob will never listen to this, but Rob reminds me, and I just figured it out, and this is a little cathartic part. Rob reminds me of so much of my dad. My dad's a tinner. My dad's also union, has been his entire life. So it's interesting because I would always hear about that at the dinner table. Between my dad's vegetables being separated and union talk, those were the two consistent things. And my dad doesn't like peas, so three consistent things. Union talk, his vegetables being separated, and never peas.
Union talk. I can't imagine what... I've never been in a union, so I don't know what you talk about.
Just everything that's going on. Dues.
Oh, just things like news and happenings? Okay. Yeah. If I was a tradesman, electrician would be the way to go. But I probably would have unfortunated myself into something shittier.
Painters union.
Yeah, painters or printers.
Yeah.
I worked at a print shop for many years, and probably would have joined that shit-ass union, and I'd be sitting at home right now. Not that the people are shitty, just...
Right, just
come on, who wants printing right now? The one thing we printed the most of, I think, was album booklets, album artwork.
For CDs?
Yeah, like CDs.
That's awesome.
And no one buys CDs anymore. You know how many they probably print? None.
Vinyl outsold CDs for the first time in 30 years.
That's a huge deal. We should have talked about that.
Yeah. We're not a vinyl podcast.
No, we're not a vinyl podcast.
Now, my dad's collection of vinyl is second to none. I've bought him 2 records.
Second to none?
Well,
vinyl.
It's
this
awesome.
Is
Boston.
These people are worse than beer snobs.
Boston. He could care less. He doesn't listen to it or whatever, but it still sits there. Boston first pressing.
Does he buy those absurd color?
Not anymore. No, he hasn't bought editions and stuff. He hasn't bought anything since.
Yeah, there's a lot of limited shit out there right now. That's white or marble or clear. It's pretty cool.
The Deftones put out a lot of vinyl. I'm not a vinyl file. I'm not an audiophile, but audiophiles will always be vinyl files. There's not an audiophile that goes, you know what, I just prefer cassettes or CDs.
I've put my ears through too much to ever be snobby about sound.
Yeah. I like it, but yeah, I'm not... The 80% solution is perfect for me.
Yeah, totally.
So...
Yeah.
But On to the second beer.
Yeah,
this is our
second
beer that JT chose that we were going to each have a full one of, so it comes in a
full
pint.
one. I'm glad I chose this.
So there's a lot more sight unseen. There is a lot more art to talk about on this. Maybe he can drop the art terminology for this type of art. But this is 18th Street Brewing from Hammond, Indiana. Gosh. So there's some confusing. So when you go to 18th Street Brewery.com, apparently it's like two names, or if either way it's in two different locations. But the artwork is very much reminiscent of its peer in the area that's less than 6 miles away, which is Three Floyds, which we've touted on this podcast. And some correspondents on this podcast would say that I'm absolutely infatuated with. But this is also...
I don't think there's a problem with that.
A DIPA. And so, again, this is an 8%. And this is... I know the ingredients in this, so we'll see if... because I did a little bit of research on this. But the best part is, if you go to their website... this is a unique art. It's not necessarily all the like harder edged type art or the more aggressive or just like black metal type thing.
It's pretty aggressive.
They diverge or whatever, but I think it's a play on the name, which is a double or Undercrown double IPA from 18th Street Brewing. So let's go with the crack. 3, 2, 1. I had to change fingers on that one.
Oh, I forgot to say shit. I was waiting for you to finish so I could say there's sediment. It says on the can sediment. Roll it. It doesn't say to roll it. No, on this one.
Oh.
I was gonna catch you before.
Oh, that's why I was
like you'd said something that made me like think, and then I'd forgotten about the sediment. So.
I am too much of a novice, so I will go into the ingredients. So can you tell me either there's 2 hops in this?
Okay.
Can you tell me either of the 2 hops? Or have you looked on the can?
I have not been given a spoiler by the can. Let me see.
There is one distinctive feature in this beer, and it's an ingredient, and I wouldn't be able to pick it out because I'm not that good on it.
It's an interesting beer.
Because this is only episode 133. The backbone of this beer is very distinct. And if I tell you, I think that's where you'll pair it. But we would never get it. But I've had this ingredient raw, like when I've gone to breweries or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, this is in our ingredient. This is
really
yeah." When they break it down, like this all goes in plus water.
Yeah,
and time plus water and love.
I want to drink the first non-water beer. What's gonna be?
Recycled urine.
Oh, I don't want that. I mean, all water from the lake.
Whatever you're gonna get, it would be tough to do on the podcast like non-water because I'm sure they're out there, but they have to make them in such small quantities because water.
What do you replace it with? I mean, it has to be water based at least.
Plasma,
yeah, plasma beer. I could see that. Happening. Man, I'm trying to think. I don't know. So I'm just gonna give up.
So the hops on this are Simcoe and Mosaic.
I was gonna say Simcoe, but I don't believe it would have been said with any conviction.
The backbone of this beer is a crystal rye malt.
Okay, you've eaten that.
Yes, and I like the rye malt, much like my bourbons. I'm growing into like the rye bourbons, not as a multiple drinks. We talk about this on the podcast. Like, can I come off and have a bunch of these? Bourbon, you can't have that. It's something that you're sitting there watching, TV before bed or something like that, and you're just having a little glass, or you're drafting. Sorry, Stacy, your fantasy baseball team. That crystal rye, it's got a abruptness and a sharpness that's followed by a parodied dullness. So I could draw it. It's got an amazing crescendo, and then it smooths everything out. So the Mosaic completely loses me, and this is going to be like the most pretentious. I don't know if Randy Orton listens anymore.
I don't know.
But so I get the Simcoe, and again, I don't get anything in the Mosaic. More of like the tropical, pungent, punchy. The Simcoe is the piney. But that crystal rye malt, when I read that, I was super excited for this one. And again, could be completely off, but I was super excited just because of my drinking habits over the last 18 months with other liquids, other
Interesting. This has a...
I bought this specifically for the podcast, too, so the little back on this one. Again, go to 18th Street Brewery.com. They've got a great website. I bought this from Pat at Hall's. He didn't say anything when I bought this. I bought a couple other beers. By the way, that Untitled Art, that Blood Orange that we had Friday, that's growing on me. That's a breakfast.
Oh, really?
That's a breakfast beer.
I saw that you checked into it.
And it is delicious as a breakfast beer.
I'll have to try it during breakfast, but man, it was so sweet.
I had it with some salty foods, like we suggested.
That would be a good idea.
Like we suggested a little bit that night. So I had it with some ham and eggs.
Yeah, I ate it after dinner. With dinner, we had IPAs, but
it is a delightful 10 to 11. It would be a great brunch beer, like if you have like a typical man's breakfast, like just ham, eggers, and a stack of hash browns.
Yeah, I think that they should put pulp in it.
There might be like some floaters.
Yeah,
floaters
when
and
I
beer.
Drink orange juice,
I'm a full pulp guy
need
too.
Pulp.
Yeah,
I have to have it. And when I drink it as a meal drink, I need it. I can't. I'm not drinking straight up that filtered shit.
No,
I'm drinking full-on pulp orange juice, and I think that blood orange could benefit from that little bitterness that the pulp gives you, because it was so sweet. It was sweeter than desserts. Like, it was sweeter than ice cream. It was like so sweet.
I should have you over for like a breakfast.
Yeah, I'll come over.
A big breakfast. I'll cook on the grill because I figured out breakfast sort of on the grill.
Oh, good.
It doesn't look
you gotta
beautiful.
Get a griddle.
No, I bought some cheap
griddle.
pans. It works great.
Oh, okay.
I'm just not burning through eggs like I used to, and it was fantastic. But so, anyways, off topic, but it's all the same topic. It's a complete breakfast beer. It's awesome. It's not as good as the Untitled Art Sweet and Sour that the Blood Orange replaced.
So yeah, you said that was really good. I didn't get the
beer of the year so far.
Beer of the year so far. Wow.
100%. Oh yeah, I'm on the record as saying that multiple times. I'm not going to waffle on.
Yeah, you said that. You said that to me. I'm in a different school right now.
Cream ales. Still?
No, not yet. I haven't had a good cream ale this year.
Bad time of the year.
The strawberry milkshake IPA at Nowhere in Particular was mind blowing because I didn't know it was an IPA until after I drank it.
Have you found your worst beer?
I haven't found my worst beer. I've been thinking about that.
I'm ready to clamp down on you guys.
I
found my beer.
I'm gonna finish this search. I have a couple ideas, but they're, and I think this was intentional. They're exploratory. Like, do you know your beer's bad?
Yes.
Because all the ideas I've had,
I think I've had it with you.
Ingredients. Oh, we've had it.
I think I've had it with you. Not on the podcast. I think you and I, on a side drinking mission, have had this beer.
Okay.
And we were extremely disappointed. I may be way off.
Okay.
And I don't want to tip my hand. Chuggalo Mikey goes, you hate this beer. And was like, go find it. And I looked.
The only
places,
one I remember us both
states.
hating simultaneously was I think it was, I don't remember the brewer, but it was the skid mark underwear. Do you remember that beer?
Oh,
it was a beer club.
Brown Note.
Brown Note.
Yeah.
We both hated that beer.
It's a great art.
Great art. Oh, yeah. That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
That's why I bought it, yeah.
So, I don't think I will win.
Okay.
I think my argument, and this is where we need to establish the rules once we have the beer.
Yeah.
I think my argument is going to be what a drop-off from your expectations. And that's all I want to say. Okay. And there's only one other person out there that knows what this beer is.
Okay.
So I don't want to tip my hand. I'm excited for this competition because we haven't had a lot of gimmicks, and I love gimmicks. I think this is going to be a fun gimmick.
Okay. I'm excited.
So I'm like, I want to be like by mid-May or something because it could be seasonal or something like that. You have to have your beer. We're going to do it,
I'll be ready soon.
So I don't want you to rush because I want everyone to bring their A game. I found my A beer.
I check every time I go to the store. I check.
So you have one in mind at least.
Like if you were like, let's do it next week, I could go and get one because I've seen a couple that I was like, I might get that. But it's none of them. I've tried none of them.
Oh, so
it's
you're
based on what I'm reading on the can. I'm like this isn't gonna be good. But the problem is that we're all so different. Like you like spicy stuff, so like all the spicy beers.
Spicy beer
not
is
spicy stuff. Spicy beer.
Spicy beer is a tough target to hit. That's a tough one. More misses than hits.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I don't want to tip my hand. I don't want you to beat me.
No, you're right. Well, but I have a few reserves. If you were to say
there's one
you've
style
taken
of
too long, let's do this.
There's one style of beer that I'm on record, and I'm like, this is atrocious. Mm-hmm. Said it multiple times.
All right. There's something in this beer. It's most likely beer, but I can't pinpoint it.
It's trolls, like the little long-haired things when we were kids.
Trying to figure out.
Look at JT looking all professional. Let's just show that off.
I took my shirt in today.
So Mama Chuggalo.
I usually
you're not wearing the green sweatshirt.
I've been wearing sweaters every day. I found a sweater I liked.
Yeah, the green one?
No, it's not green. It's not always green.
That green one you wore 2 weeks in a row.
Maybe on Tuesdays, but
This is my.
Steve Jobs had an approach to dressing himself that was buy the same thing and just forget about fucking worrying about what you wear. I have a similar approach where like I find something I like and I'll buy several of them in different colors. So the pants that I like, I have a couple khaki color ones because khaki goes with everything, and then I have like blue, gray, black, same pants, same style, same size, everything. And then I found this sweater. I just bought it in every color because I liked it. I liked the way it felt. And that's it. So I just happen to wear green on Tuesdays twice, I guess. But I do have multiple colors of it.
No, I'm not. I
don't wear the shirt like the same clothes every day. Like I'm not that guy.
Really?
I don't wear the same color. Like I don't. No, I'll wear them like pants. I'll wear a couple times before I wash them.
100%.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's what you were reallying.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying you're
like I don't wear the same colors 2 days in a row.
It's not a dirty thing to me. It's my wife's out scooping up poop right now. She's wearing earbuds though. Yeah, so she can't hear. It's a fantastic sight in the great weather. So my dress pants, because I wear, so I have 20 pairs of dress pants, and one goes from the front, goes to the back, and every third or fourth wash, then I wash them because at work we're not getting dirty.
No, you're not. We're not
trades people.
No, but there are people who put a lot of effort into their appearance.
I wear a tie every day, but I
don't do that. I'm not wearing a tie.
No.
When I first got out of the Navy, I focused on what I was wearing, and back then I couldn't afford anything. It was like consuming me. Like I changed my shirt several times. Like I don't think this looks good. This one looks bad. So I'm of the mindset that the less time I can think about what I'm wearing, the better.
I pick out my clothes the day before.
Oh, see, it's morning of.
I can't turn.
I'm flying through it, but everything for me is I've made it easy. Everything that's on a hanger is good.
So for me,
it doesn't look like shit.
Pants are separate, shirts are separate.
Oh, yeah,
There's a different number of pants, so I always pick the furthest ones. So I take them and I put them in my wife's closet because I get dressed in the bathroom, so I don't have to turn on any lights. The envious ones that we should be envious of, and the reason why I bring this up are twofold. One are medical workers, scrubs.
Oh gosh,
you have like three colors. And you just mix and match.
Just amazing.
Because I know. And then gym teachers.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And, so you're just wearing fucking like snap away pants, yeah, like. And then, the clothing and allowance for the military.
I miss the days where I could just throw on the same uniform every day and just go to work. Boom, done. PT gear for the drive. Throw on my camis for work. Boom, go home. That's it. Now it's a lot more difficult. You got to buy actual clothes.
Now you're just getting into our thoughts. But speaking of thoughts, what are your thoughts on this beer?
Yeah, so I've already can-arted this. I don't know the art style. I guess goth.
Not everything is goth when it includes skulls.
No, well, no, but I don't know what you'd call it. It's like a medieval. It's not goth because the colors just don't line up. I don't know. It's realism, really, because it's just skulls, right? There's not much else you can say. It's got a what's a realistic cartoon?
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy. It's got a real Ren and Stimpy feel to it. I would say that this is like
minute 45 if you're on your audio pleasures.
Have you ever watched Metalocalypse?
Yes, and that's going to rate very high with the Juggalos.
Yeah, Metalocalypse. I love that show.
It's a doom black
the guy
metal
who
vibe.
talks in plurals. I fucking love that guy. I tried doing that once for a while, like tried to carry it through for a few hours. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. He's also okay, so it's skulls. As Matt showed, didn't I get up and show this to the camera?
You did, but I really slowed it down.
Okay. I'm spinning too quick. So there's skulls throughout. It's a pile of skulls, and on the top of that is what I assume to be, you can't see the feet, but I assume to be a full skeleton, and that skeleton is probably some sort of royalty. It had a crown. They put 2 spears or 2 arrows through its throat and eyes. Is like. The angle of this doesn't really match up like with the human anatomy, but I guess you could probably get it through works. The top of your
roof of your mouth.
Yeah, the roof of your mouth and out your eye socket. I'm not sure that would work actually.
Through your soft palate?
I don't think that would work. And the crown. I mean, your crown's like back here.
Yep.
So this dude was rocking like a forward crown. Anyway, or lady, could have been a queen. There's no way to know. When you see the skull, you have to count the ribs. I'm not doing that. But these are some sharp arrows. They're going through the crown. On the tips of the crown, this is the chef's kiss. It's hops on the crown. The crowns. They're hops. That was smart.
My wife's getting annoyed because I keep texting her.
You're texting her?
Because she's on her earbuds.
Other than that, I think the angles are wrong on those arrows, but that's okay. There's a couple crows. They're crowing. Crows don't crow unless there's something to crow at.
Interesting.
So I learned that at there's a nature preserve in Troy.
Yeah.
Troy, Ohio. Very cool. It talks about why crows would vocalize, and it's because there's something to vocalize that. In this case, it's skeletons, and skeletons don't make a noise or make movements, or they're just dead, right? They're just dead people.
Well, I mean, there's like drudge skeletons or skeleton warriors, or
there could be, but we don't have any indication that this scene it has come to life.
Is animated. Gotcha.
Yeah, animated. So the one crow on the right is yelling probably just at the crow on the left. There's nothing else for it to yell at. Because by all accounts, these skulls have been here for thousands of years. This was stumbled upon by an archaeologist who found this king or queen who was slain, sacrificed. And that's it.
Interesting.
The background it's like a hot sun, a red dark maroon sun, and this is a cool can. It's a cool ass can. And the crown is foil. If you notice that, it has a little shimmer. I like that. That's it. That's the Can Burner segment brought to you by
Chuggalo Ryan.
Chuggalo Ryan. I still didn't pinpoint this smoothness. There's a smoothness to this beer, but it's a loud smoothness. If that makes any sense, like it lets you know it's smooth.
It's not.
It's
subtle.
like, hey, I'm smooth.
It's not subtle.
It's like gosh, what in the world? Okay, so there's a couple things that are like, I expected this, but I got this. And in this case,
Hookers.
I expected like strong mint.
Herpes.
And I got smooth mint. One of those is those
Magnum
dinner mints.
condoms.
Dinner mints. You know, dinner mints?
Andes. Chocolates.
Yeah, but there's chocolate in that. That's not comparable. Also, Lifesavers mint. The
Oh.
white Lifesavers.
The toilet mints.
Yeah, toilet mints.
Yeah, if you eat those.
So toilet mints, you're like, this is going to be minty, but then you're like, oh no, this is like, it's like sweet and smooth.
Oh, so you get one, you have one thing, but you think it's going to be something else.
You think it's going to be, like, you think
I got the best.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the table, my breath's going to be fresh as fuck. Nope, it's all sugar.
Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky.
You thought he was going to be one thing, and he was going to be a
Well, here's the thing. No one
disappointment.
thought Mitch Trubisky was going to be any good.
Randy
Except
Orton
Ryan
did.
Pace. Yeah.
Randy Orton
did.
Yeah.
I have a huge problem with the salaries of NFL GMs.
Well, I mean, you know, in your defense, because you guys could have had Deshaun Watson.
Or we could have had
Which now
Mahomes.
It's not looking... Yeah.
Because we had the second pick.
Yeah, he would have cost a lot of money, though.
No, he was the second pick. He was the second pick. It doesn't matter who you draft. You could pay him. You can pay him the same.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky was drafted higher than Patrick Mahomes. Think about that, folks.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The consensus, the majority, typically rules. And it's typically right. Other than in Jamarcus Russell's
Or the
case.
2000 election.
The 2000 election.
Thanks, Florida.
But a GM in the NFL is paid all this money.
Yeah.
And then you have someone like Ryan Pace who's like, well, I'm obviously smarter than everyone else.
Right. He
And
got there for
I
a
have
reason.
a cool fucking haircut where I shave the sides of my head, but I have like long hair on top.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool and young.
He's
He's like, I'm going to make a decision that's different than everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Mitch Trubisky because no one knows
Yeah.
that this sophomore,
Oh, we know.
he's going to be great.
Yeah.
I don't want Patrick Mahomes. Who's Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
He sucks. Who's Deshaun Watson? Well, now it's probably a good thing we didn't get Deshaun Watson. He's going to be in court for a while. Anyway. I don't think they should be paying these GMs that much money. Because all you have to do is just pay the fucking crowd.
Yeah.
You know, give the crowd the money and they'll pick for you and they'll be right 100% of the time.
Right.
Probably. So that's the Can Our Boner segment brought to you by Ryan. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, cheese curds. Because last week...
Oh, we had some
listening.
cheese curds.
Last week he was listening. He goes, damn it, Matt. All I want are some cheese curds.
My wife made poutine. And, well, I helped.
Where'd you guys get cheese curds from, though?
The store. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you the brand. Kitty will know.
Yeah.
But they were legit. I think they were Wisconsin. Packaged, of course, because we're in Ohio.
Probably not.
Yeah, they lied. For sure, they lied.
It's probably Young's Dairy.
Young's Dairy, it's not the worst cheese curds I've ever had.
No, it's definitely not the worst. It's the best for this area.
They cook them, though.
Yeah, they'll deep fry them.
You want cold, squeaky ones.
Squeaky.
Yeah. All right. So this beer has some sort of smoothness to it, and it likens itself to when you expect a mint, but you get a smooth mint. You know, you get like the Lifesavers wintergreen.
Interesting.
It's not minty. I'm not trying to insinuate that this is minty.
You're trying to explain the profile.
Yeah, you're like, okay, this is gonna be hops, but nope, it's Gosh, what the fuck is this? There's something smooth in here. I can't figure it out.
That's all right.
It's got to be a fruit of some sort, like a real melony fruit, like a fruit that, fruit. I don't know. It's a melon. It's a melon. Yeah, I'm at that point. That's as far as I've gotten. There's a melon in this beer. It's probably honeydew. And that's it. I like this beer actually. It replaces all of that salt salivation from the last beer with good tasting.
Are you glad you did this beer as the full?
Oh yeah.
So you made the right choice.
This beer,
I agree.
this dumpster
100%.
fire, it like there was something weird about it.
I agree.
Again, the salt, it was like salty. This one's more fruity, but not overly fruity. Not like fruity like, oh, I know this is cherry or whatever. It's good. 375.
375.
Yeah.
You blew my mind.
Thanks, Ryan.
In a typical JT fashion, great beer, blah blah blah, 375.
Yeah.
So that was incredible that you did that. So
Good,
off the top rope, I'm glad I bought this beer. Just again, I buy the one ongoing gimmick that we've had on this podcast is we've always had the can opener segment. Every episode.
I think that's what makes our podcast the best beer podcast on the internet.
It's the only gimmick that's persisted. So we've had Busch Light commercials, we've had the Busch Light police, we've had a bunch of gimmicks, dozens and dozens. The can boner segment is a persistent, just strong like bull.
Strong like bull.
It doesn't need any blue pills or anything like that.
Nope. It's always hard.
So it's nice to feed, sometimes stoke that fire.
Mm-hmm.
So off the top rope, I really enjoy this beer. I give this beer a 4.25. I don't get any of the melon or any of the fruit that JT was alluding to. But what I like about this beer is that crystal rye malt. It's got that sharpness that tapers off. So both of us are saying like the same thing. Like if you would draw video podcast, so it's very sharp and then it tapers off.
It's a skewed histogram.
It abrupt exponential growth and then
a Poussin distribution.
Yeah, a Poussin or just other cities in China. Zhangchang or Poussin is a city in China, right? So, anyways,
probably.
The artwork is fantastic. I attribute my musical attributes more to the darker side, and that's still a wide ranging. But this is a fantastic beer off the top rope, 4.25.
It's a very good score.
Both these beers, I will say that. So this came in at an 8%. Mm-hmm. The 9.3% was better hidden than this beer.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, probably.
And it's not close.
Yeah.
This beer, and I'm pointing towards the dumpster fire, would be way more dangerous at 9.3 because I didn't taste it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But this, because of that sharpness or whatever, it lingers, that alcohol, that ABV lingers a little bit more. I feel like I would drink 3 of those. Obviously, by law, I'd be in a worse position if I drank 3 of these. I think my palate would be feeling a little bit different.
On the second beer?
Yeah. So if I had 3 and 3, just in my mind. That's not really fair at times because it could be an accumulation of effects. But
I don't think you want to drink 3 of either of these. I mean, you can.
I mean, I would. I would just not. I'm not going to go anywhere for the evening, and I would probably order pizza. So it was just a theory.
Yeah.
But with that theory, I printed off a document. You know what? JT and I loaded this on our Facebook page. So this is already on our Facebook page.
Wow.
So if you want to follow us.
Totally. Together, we did that.
So if you want to follow us as we go through this conversation, this is the top 50 U.S. craft brewing companies in 2020. No one knows. It's a mystery on how they aggregated this data, but we're going to go over some of the high points. So number 1, JT, without looking at the list,
we've gone through this. Yeah.
Would you have been able to guess?
I think after about 10 guesses, I would have remembered that the world considers Yuengling a craft brewery.
But in our mind, would we?
No, we wouldn't. But I would have remembered it because we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So besides that conversation, I don't think anyone, and I agreed the same with number 2. I don't think Boston Beer Company, Sam Adams,
not at all,
is a craft brewer.
Not at all. Now I think that there's an exclusivity to Yuengling.
Yeah.
That gives it appeal, on the other side of the Mississippi. But that's going to go away very soon because they're making their way towards California.
So if we
Boston Beer Company, no way.
So if we go through the list, Sierra Nevada, Duvel, everyone sees Duvel. It's kind of it's the bomber shelf turd, if you will. But Duvel makes good stuff.
I can't believe they're number 4. Like I've never seen anyone buying it.
Because it's so awkward. You have to go to. It's not going to be.
So why are they number 4? Who's buying this shit?
So again, we don't know. So Breweries Association, we don't know the aggregation. Is this by sales or So if I go down, the first one that I run into is number 6, Canarchy.
Canarchy, yeah.
Have we? I don't remember
I don't know if
having
we've
that.
had Canarchy, but I know it's number 7 we talk about quite often.
Bell's. I'm a big my daily staple right now is Lighthearted.
Yeah.
I paid $20 for a 12-pack for that. I love that beer.
Yeah, I'm on the Dogfish Head side of that argument.
So then artisanal.
Nope.
Nope. Stone, yes.
Sure.
Deschutes, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And on that, Sweetwater.
Yeah, Sweetwater I don't recognize other than 420 beers. And, and I'm kind of getting burned out on it.
Okay.
So much weed.
And now Sweetwater, they must not, on here, it's just the Atlanta. And again, go to our Facebook page because we posted it on there. They had an Ohio location. So New Glarus, an amazing diversity of efforts. And every time, and both of us are big members of the craft beer group on Facebook, which spans the entire country. Everyone, when they're like, go to Wisconsin, they're like, go to New Glarus, go to New Glarus, go to New Glarus. And, locals are like, hey, we get it all the time. Then it just becomes a goddamn dick measuring contest. But honestly, they do a lot of things besides Spotted Cow. Everyone's like, when I go home, I want to taste the Spotted Cow. Their Thumbprint series is absolutely phenomenal. Their strawberry rhubarb beer is absolutely phenomenal.
Rhubarb. Man.
Yeah. That's
so good.
That's something that my wife and I fight over. Mm-hmm. And she's not a big sour, she likes beer. When
my
she's
problem
drinking,
is that it's number 12. I'm sure that their sales are there.
Yeah.
But New Glarus has this exclusive Wisconsin thing.
Don't distribute outside of Wisconsin.
I want your fucking beer.
Yeah.
Like, just give it to me.
So number 13 is Mott Brewing Company. We've had a beer from them. It was that Mississippi Mud. I'm pretty sure they produce that.
That's Matt.
Yep.
Matt Brewing.
Good
job.
Brooklyn Brewery. We've had them.
Did we have them?
I think I got them, and I can't name their beer. It was either them or Long Island in one of my Tavor beer boxes.
Well, Brooklyn is one of the exclusive beers at Pine Club.
Interesting.
In case you're wondering.
So
so I've had it there.
One of the top 5 steakhouses in the entire country is actually in Dayton, and that's not debatable.
The Brooklyn
that's
IPA is one of their exclusive beers.
So Harpoon is pretty much known as the shelf turd. So this might be by production.
It's got to be.
Stevens Point Brewery. So out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. My best memory with Stevens Point is on Mondays on Water Street, which is the College Bar Street in my hometown of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. You can get Point Special pitchers for $2.75.
That's a good deal.
A full pitcher, not
a full pitcher.
Not these artisanal pitchers that I'm starting to see. Like full pitcher.
Full pitcher.
A full pitcher pours 5 pint glasses.
Wow.
Beer. So then 17 is Odell Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Odell.
I believe so.
18 is Minhas. Minhas is a Mr. Cooler of Death staple because they brew stuff. I haven't had any of their craft stuff, but their staples taste like rubbing alcohol. Mm-hmm. 19 is Abita. We've had Abita.
Yeah, we've had
the Purple Haze or whatever.
Everyone's had Abita.
20 is Trogs.
Yep.
I would have never been able to tell you that Trogs is in Pennsylvania. Trogs, to me, had a Colorado feel.
Trogs had an Ohio feel to me.
Okay. 21 is Summit. Mm-hmm. And I would be remiss. Chuggalo Dave is going to listen. I love Summit. So their Extra Pale is a fantastic beer.
And they're above Surly.
So Chuggalo Dave is going to text me. Chuggalo Dave, does Summit belong above Surly? Please
There's a
let me know.
couple Minnesota brewers above Surly.
So 22 is Great Lakes.
Yeah, Great Lakes.
Which is... We've got a small opinion of Ohio, which is Great Lakes is the most lauded beer in Ohio.
Well, I think if you want to taste a beer as it should be, with no frills, Great Lakes is a good place to go.
Concise. It's
you're going to get an IPA from them, and it'll taste like an IPA. You're going to get a lager. You're going to get whatever, and it'll taste like that beer. They're not going to give you extra shit though.
So Ohio is a more populous state than Wisconsin. I feel like Great Lakes is the New Glarus of Wisconsin. When people come home, Ohioans, they want a Great Lakes
I wish
beer.
that were true.
You don't think that's... What do you think they want?
No, I think New Glarus has more appeal.
But I'm thinking of like
Great
when
Lakes,
you go home.
like the Commodore Perry.
I'm thinking
is
their
a
Christmas
standard.
Their Christmas ale is like a highly
I haven't
sought
had their
after
Christmas
beer.
ale, so I guess I can't talk to it. But I think, who is the New Glarus of Ohio? I don't know.
I think we're jaded. We slant so hard to this side of the state.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
like
yeah.
Jackie O's is another one.
Totally.
That's on the opposite side of the state, though.
Platform, Jackie O's, Dogfish, or not Dogfish.
Fathead.
What's the dog one? That's in Columbus.
Oh, Brewdog.
Brewdog.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of these, they're just like producing standard beers.
So, Chugalo Stev.
Yeah.
You're probably Ohio beer aficionado of the group that we know, like of the...
Probably the expert of the state.
Yeah, you're Chugalo Stev. Weigh in on Facebook.
Another
person. What is like what people when they come back home?
Yeah, what are they looking for?
After crooked handle.
After crooked handle.
After crooked handle.
Fatheads. Great Lakes. I guess you probably have a point with Great Lakes.
So then we go to August Shell, which is out of New Ulm, Minnesota. Chugalo Dave's going to have comments on that. Three Floyds at 24.
24. It's a shame.
Which is then
it should be top 5.
Yeah. Then 25 Rheingeist.
That's pretty good for Rheingeist.
Rheingeist is up there with a couple of breweries that we're going to talk about later in this list.
Okay.
What do they produce that's disappointing?
No, nothing.
Yeah,
but I actually think that Rheingeist's truth should be everyone's intro.
Yeah, where like Harpoon's got a RIPA that is absolutely atrocious. So number 26 is Alaskan. Alaskan is highly sought after in Minnesota, and now they have a wider distribution. I don't know who did their distribution agreement.
It was probably Joe.
Yeah. 27 is Gordon Biersch. I know Gordon Biersch because of their restaurant chain.
Yeah.
So like when I go to Vegas, I love going to Gordon Biersch.
Vegas.
Yeah, so they've got a restaurant there, and they've got the beautiful stills, more vertical than they are horizontal, stainless. I love their Hefeweizen because it's got a chew to it. I always like when I go to Vegas to go to Gordon Biersch, but I don't know it as a production. I think that they're a site when you go there to get food.
It's obvious that the name Gordon is synonymous with quality.
Or fish sticks.
Gordon Fisherman, Gordon Ramsay, Gordon Biersch, Gordon Foods, right?
Yep.
Isn't that a Wisconsin thing?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You go 28, Georgetown Brewing. I've never heard of them.
No. And especially in Washington?
Washington, which is
Washington
weird.
State, not Washington, D.C., where Georgetown is.
A weird name to go Georgetown and be Seattle, Washington. 29 is Allagash, or Allagash.
Yeah, we've done that.
We've done that. So out of Portland, Maine. Here's one, Kings and Convicts Brewing in Ballast Point. Kings and Convicts, if you remember, we did this story 40 episodes ago-ish on the podcast when Ballast Point was bought for $1 billion.
Only $1 billion.
By InBev, and InBev, after a year, punted, and Kings and Convicts, which was a small brewery conglomerate out of Chicago, bought them up for like $350 million.
No way.
So,
damn.
But Ballast Point.
And Ballast Point's got some pretty decent beers.
Their Sculpin series.
Yeah, Sculpin.
And they're, for me, as a novice to the craft brewing game, they were one of the first craft breweries that I remember that started coming in at $15 and $16 for a 6-pack. For like the Sculpin series and they're at sea, but again they're habanero and just regular Sculpin series. So 31 Long Trail out of Bridgewater Corners, Vermont. So hopefully Cobra's bringing back some of that.
Yeah, Vermont. State.
Narragansett Brewing.
Narragansett.
We've had them.
Yeah, I believe we have. At least I have.
Yeah.
Pawtucket.
Pawtucket.
That's
Rhode
a Family
Island.
Guy thing. Pawtucket's where Family Guy's out of.
Ninkasi Brewing out of Eugene. Haven't heard of them. 21st Amendment. We've had them out of their watermelon
21st beer. Is great.
Yep.
Yeah, we had my mom, that was a Chocolate Mom.
The
solution.
watermelon?
Yeah.
Which is...
Hell or High watermelon.
Hell or High, which is such a difficult beer to pair because watermelon carries a lot of water to it. There's not a lot of profile to watermelon.
Yeah.
So interesting. 35, a staple, Flying Dog. 36, as we've talked about and I alluded to, Surly. 37, Rogue. So, Mr. Klein, we've talked about you and Bat Squatch multiple times. Again, thank you for the outreach.
He probably stopped listening because I say Oregon.
I probably said Oregon. And then
you try, yeah.
Lost Coasts. I know I've had them.
We've had Lost Coasts, yeah. Eureka.
Yeah, Eureka. Then finally, Rev Brewing out of Chicago.
Fist City.
Fist City.
I don't like that name. Fist City. Like, no one calls it that.
Fist City. I've never...
Like, how does that correlate to the beer?
Like CM Punk. He does the clobbering time. Fist.
I don't like it. It's dumb. It's a Chicago flag. CM Punk's cool, but Fist City, I don't like that name. It's stupid.
Number 40. Again, follow us on... we have this on Facebook, or if you're a part of craft beer groups. Number 40, Modern Times. I've seen it. This can doesn't have a track. It's the cursive.
It's the cursive T,
It's the subtle.
The swirly T, yeah.
Everyone's seen that? That's out of San Diego?
I don't think that's the best San Diego beer, though.
Nope. And that's the number one San Diego beer. Apologies to the... God, there's one. I'm thinking like Firewalker. I'm thinking of Los Angeles beers. But
Stone's in San Diego.
That's Escondido. Is that technically...
It's technically suburb,
okay. Yeah, Stone's way better.
California's so fucked up with their traffic. Everything's San Diego until you get to LA.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
And then... so, anyways, Brewdog, which we've talked about, which is basically Columbus. You know, even though we talked about a little bit pre-podcast, a little bit out of the British Isles, Scotland, Ireland. St. Arnold Brewing out of Houston. We've had St. Archer. Yes. I miss St. Archer. That was
St. Archer. Yeah, that was
2020
1-year deal there. Yeah,
we did that on the podcast.
St. Archer.
And number 43. I'm surprised. Toppling Goliath.
Yeah, Toppling Goliath. That's really low.
Out of Decorah, Iowa, representing Iowa. Two Roads Brewing. I don't think we've had the opportunity to do Two Roads.
Where are you at? Oh, yeah, okay.
44?
I see it.
Fremont.
No, I don't think so.
Fremont Brewing out of Seattle. Shipyard, another Maine. Two Maine breweries.
Two Maines.
Out of Portland. Left Hand Brewing. I've seen Left Hand.
We've done
Hand is very prevalent. Left Hand, I like how they, just put a left hand on their bottle. Creature Comforts out of Georgia. Haven't had the opportunity. Number 49. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You had something with Creature Comforts?
No, I was just saying, nope, me neither.
49, Montauk.
Yep.
Creative out of Montauk, New York. Your creative department needs a little bit of work, but Montauk
Brewing.
And then 50, I know we've all had their signs are available everywhere, and it could be our proximity being in the eastern part of the Midwest. New Holland Brewing out of Holland, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. If you look at this map, there's definitely the flyover states.
Yeah.
The fact that a Utah brewery made it, but that's with a caveat because Canarchy is brewed or packaged in 6 different states. But with the exception of Colorado, the flyover states or the mountain time zone would be completely abolished.
Yeah, I disagree with most of this. There's too much California. And I think that that's a result of population density. So
again, as terrible, we don't know if this is production. I would lead to think with like Yuengling and Boston Beer and Sierra Nevada that you always see.
I think that the Midwest is repping craft beer better than most. There are obviously exceptions. Russian River's not even on here.
Yep.
There's
Carolinas to represent
right. The
Cobra's
Carolinas. I mean, there's like
Burial is
and
not
that's
on
probably a distribution. And
they self-distribute.
They just it's distribution and it's density, population density, as a function of brewery density.
Right.
You've watered down the market too much. You can't get on this list, but there are probably breweries in North Carolina that are insanely good.
Can I make one? So, Wisconsin has like 9 of the top 10 drinking schools, states.
Yeah, schools, sure.
That's got to be the only reason that Point or Stevens Point Brewery is in the top 20.
Yeah, probably Stevens Point.
Again,
but New Glarus has earned its reputation.
Right. Stevens Point, no one goes.
I never heard
amazing
of it.
craft beers.
Yeah.
But their swill, again, at $2.75 a pitcher on Mondays, was a desired feature throughout my collegiate career.
Mm-hmm.
For a pitcher,
huh?
You can go have a great time for $10 and not feel good.
That's impressive because you can't have a good time for $10.
Well, yeah, because you're eating too. So you go get 2 pitchers and then you go get a couple of bean burritos. You know, boom, done.
That sounds
done
awesome.
for the night.
Yeah, here in Ohio, that's Rheingeist, but not cheap.
Oh,
that's just where you take your out-of-state friends. That's where you take your out-of-state. Yeah, not swill. Where is there a swill spot? You know that you're that also brews their own beer.
I hope that we bridge that gap
with Ohio Style.
With Ohio Style.
Yeah, I hope.
And we're in negotiation.
I think Ohio Style will be the next big thing in beer.
Right.
You'll see. I mean, this whole thing is going to shift. 2021, 2022. It's going to be whoever capitalizes on Ohio Style will be at the top. Probably Crooked Handle.
That's right, Jason. Coming.
Yeah, it could be
just
nowhere in particular. He wants to do Ohio Style too.
Just eating wings at Crooked
Yeah,
Handle.
I haven't had their wings yet.
Oh,
but man, do I love wings.
Their beer is phenomenal. Their wings are good. When it's a pairing, it's orgasmic.
Yeah. What are you drinking with the wings?
Wet. It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter.
I mean,
You're gonna have the peanut butter porter, which is definitely one of their most signature beers.
Didn't have it.
You're not eating that with wings. Or you're not drinking that with wings.
No, I don't want, because I want the wings. I'm going with the effect.
I want the wings. So you want something like a little more golden.
Yeah.
Less dark.
Yeah. So they're you're trying to set me up here.
I'm goading you, man.
It's the
what do you want?
The raspberry that they just blew.
I don't know, anything.
Blew out
Anything's good.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trick you.
Yeah. I don't want something dark and heavy.
What are you drinking with wings?
Not something dark and heavy.
No. What did you have at Crooked Handle?
I mean, do you want me to go through my list? I'll go through my list.
I just want you to reminisce.
I told you, it was that golden raspberry.
That sounds awesome. And you had that with wings. What kind of wings? Buffalo?
Naked.
Plain wings?
Naked wings. Because
I don't know. I'm not eating plain wings.
The rub that they put on
I heard that
fantastic.
it's good. Well, though, it's not naked then. It's got a rub. And a dry rub is...
Yeah, they put the sauce on the side.
Is something.
Put the sauce on the side.
When I go to B-Dubs, I get the dry rub.
You don't go to B-Dubs for wings.
What do you go there for?
Because you hate life.
Oh, okay. Roger that. I was unaware. I actually like their lemon pepper dry rub.
Gross.
Really?
Mm.
Man, we are
You don't
so
like
opposite.
anything from there.
I like
You
that.
go there because you want wings and there's nothing else available within 100 miles.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's true. I could say that's true. Or you go there because everything that is available is less good. Less good for you. Their dry rub wings are 0 carbs or 1 carb or something like that. My only other option is Tronies. And that's a lot different. It's a different night. Have you ever had Tronies?
Tronies. Yes.
Their calzones are amazing.
So good. So good.
Have you really been to Tronies?
So yeast. Oh, yeah.
I feel like you're saying yes, but you haven't.
No.
Yeah, Tronies has good calzones. The only other calzone that I found close is a place that it seems like all my friends around me are boycotting, Tanks. Is that happening, or am I haven't been there in over a year.
It is a thing.
But their calzones are pretty good.
I've never had their calzones. I go there.
They're not bad.
I go there for breakfast and chip dip.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why I go. I go there for breakfast. I'm not getting a calzone.
What was the name of when we did the last bowl off blow off? What was the name of the place where we went and got breakfast at Chugalo?
I wish I could remember. Yeah,
you know
Alex.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, Alex. Dr. Alex had suggested. Gosh, what was that place? They were so nice.
Yeah.
Good breakfast, big omelet, and craft beer before 10.
Okay, so I need to look.
You probably checked in.
I'm gonna have to.
That place was pretty good. That whole day was.
By the way, we did a thing. We did a thing at Crooked Handle. Was my beer of the day.
Oh, okay.
So you've had that.
Yeah, we did a thing. Yeah, I've had that. We need to do another blow off.
Yeah.
I still have the money.
Hopefully you invested it.
I didn't. It's still in my bowling bag.
I want double down.
It's in my bowling bag. Yeah.
When would we have done the blow off?
When would we have?
Yeah.
May maybe?
No.
Maybe June?
Terrible. All right.
Yeah, it's terrible. When do we do the blow off?
I got to figure it out because
it's got to be June. July.
I need to know the name. It was June, July of.
Yeah, 2019.
God.
It was
2 years.
The pretzel bun burger that I never got to enjoy.
The Bobo.
And then it was hot as fuck. I mean, spicy hot.
The Bobo. Yeah, it was June, July. It was right around Father's Day. So it was June 2019.
Yeah, you're right.
God bless. We have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll get it. We'll plug this next week. Chris will be back.
How many beers did I have? Jeez Louise.
A lot. Are you in the thousands?
Oh, yeah.
How many thousands?
No, just 1,000.
I think I might have... No, I think I'm in 600 or 700. But I don't check in every beer.
No, I didn't. When I was at your house, I didn't check in beers.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you get caught up in conversation. You just, the phone,
you can't check in beer all the time.
The phone
people are
just
going to
goes
think you're a fucking asshole.
But
it's a life tip.
Yeah. Well, the shoe fits.
Put your fucking phone down, people.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, you got anything else?
No. Episode Larry Bird plus 100.
Yeah. That's right.
I wore short shorts today.
What did you write down earlier? Let's call it that.
Oh, block can balls.
Can balls. I think can balls is good.
Can balls.
Can balls. Block can balls is good, but can balls is better. I think.
Yeah.
Block those balls. That's it. I mean, we can't end the episode if no one ends it. Bye.